Okay, let's pray. Most High Yah, in the name of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, we come before your throne humbly asking that your spirit will guide us as we go into your word, that above all things your name will be uplifted and honored and glorified, and that we would be obedient to your word and also give glory to your name. Yahweh Shai, we pray. All right. Brothers and sisters, we believe that as the Bible shows us, that we are living in the last days of Earth's history. We believe that there's not many more years left of this planet as it now stands. When I say the last days of Earth's history, what I mean is of strife, war, sin on planet Earth. The end of earthly governments and corruption, the end of disease, the end of rebellion against the Most High's law is coming on planet Earth. And in bringing forth the end of these things, he's going to bring in, the Bible shows us, he's going to bring in his everlasting kingdom. We are approaching, and as we are in these things now, and we're seeing signs every day that the Bible showed us will come to pass, and we're seeing these signs that are being manifested, that the book of Revelation has shown us, and all the prophets have shown us. We're seeing these things come to pass on a daily basis. And people are there's different reactions that people are showing to these things. Some people there are people that believe the word and believe what I just said. And what they're doing is they're selling their houses, they're selling their stuff, and they're moving to remote areas. And they're doing this because they want to be away from what they perceive as more danger in the higher populated areas, these suburbs. They're trying to get away from these higher populated areas. And then, of course, there's a school of thought, they'll be able to buy or sell. They're looking to grow their own food and be self-sustaining in areas that are in remote places. There are people going out into the Ozarks. There are people going out in different rural areas of places like Tennessee, upstate New York, Arkansas, California, Oregon, Idaho, Washington, Montana, Dakotas. People that are moving into other countries, even Costa Rica, Panama, South America, the island, be in places where they can be self-sustaining. And that's fine. To illustrate or show the dangers, there's good and bad to all of these situations. And brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, the Most High Yah requires to have complete trust in him. That is, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, obedient to his commandments, and in so doing, showing our complete trust, our complete dependence upon him alone, not upon him and man, not upon him and church, not upon him and anyone, but upon him alone. He continually is showing us in the scriptures to trust him, to believe him, to depend on him. with all thine heart. We just read that today. And lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. He continually showing us to trust him. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. Yahweh is a refuge for us. That's Psalm 62. He's always showing us that we need to trust him. And there's a reason for it. Aside from the fact that he is our creator, the only being, the only entity in the universe that deserves our complete trust, because he is the creator of us. He has made us. He put the breath of life in our lungs and keeps our hearts beating. He's the only one that deserves that type of allegiance. That the Bible tells us that in the last days we're going into a situation where it's going to be a situation that is above in terms of intensity, like unlike any other thing. And at that time, we will not have any earthly support to depend on. We're going to have to depend on the Most High himself. And let's look at it in Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12. Daniel 12 from verse 1. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Makaal, the great prince, which standeth for the children, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So the people that are delivered are, he said, the children of Daniel's people, talking to Daniel. And he said, the children of Daniel's people, that the children of Israel. Messiah also said in Matthew chapter 24, from verse 21 down to verse 24, actually from 24, from Matthew 24, from verse 21 down to verse 25, Messiah also said, then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. Sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Messiah, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told before. So we know these things are coming. The scriptures give us many witnesses to show that these things are coming. And we see them even on the horizon in our time. We can see them coming. And yet, as these things are approaching, there is a mindset of people that claim to be followers of the Most High. There is a mindset that it's time for us. It is time for us to accumulate wealth. First, let me talk to those that have bought land in desolate areas and are seeking to be self-sufficient. Praise the Most High for that. But I want people to understand that the Bible shows us that the Most High does not change. Does it not? It says, I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. He does not change. He gave us his covenant on stone, indicating that the covenant will never change. It is as eternal as he is. The covenant has not changed. That being the case, man's laws do change, because man is not the Most High. Testing 1, 2, 3. I want to make sure you hear that. So the Most High's laws do not change, but man's laws change. And man's laws change for various reasons. Man's laws can change based on necessity, changes in situations and circumstances. can change based on man's desires. What man wants, what he wants to see. It can change based on what he wants to control and how he wants to control situations. So, for example, I want to give you an example. You can buy a piece of property, a piece of land, right? You can buy a piece of land outright for cash. Are you hearing me? Testing 1, 2, 3. You can buy a piece of land. You can have the deed to the land. You can pay the taxes on land. It could be yours. That does not stop any government from changing laws to cause you to lose that land. Are you following me? Testing 1, 2, 3. That does not cause the government to be able to change the laws and take away whatever you think you own. There's nothing. You see, when people buy land and they pay cash for it, their understanding is that I own this land. Pay taxes on this land, is nobody can take it from me because that's the law. And what they're making the mistake is they're trusting that the government will keep the law the same. There is no guarantee. And we see many examples in history, even in United States history, that changed, that where laws have been changed, manipulated. Even like, for example, for a long time in the United States, certain people were not allowed to vote. Not allowed to vote. Okay? Many black people were not allowed to vote. Women were not allowed to vote, right? Certain people were not allowed to vote in the United States. But over the course of time, for political reasons, governments and powers allowed both women to vote. So when governments and powers see it to their advantage, maybe any women voted or too many black people voted, then they re-changed the laws. And what they did, they didn't take away your right to vote outright, but what they do is they change the way districts are set up so that you become a minority in your district. Maybe your district was mostly women, or maybe your district was all black. They mix your district with another district so that your vote is not as powerful, and they can change your vote, control the vote. They call it gerrymandering. They've been doing that a long time. You can own a house or a land, and the government can decide that there's a public project going through your land, and we need to use your land. So they offer you some money for your land, and if you don't take the money, they're still going to take your land. Often in the United States. And if you ask people in South Africa, the Dutch came down to South Africa from Europe. They came down there from Europe, and they ended up owning most of South Africa. The natives of South Africa outnumbered the Europeans from South Africa. And then they started becoming more violent, so that today the white South African is in trouble. His land, or what he thought was his land, is being taken from him by force, and there's nothing he could do about it. Now, whether you believe that's right or wrong because they came from Europe and took the land, that's not the point. The point is they will be able to tell you that there's no law that can protect you when you think you own something on this earth. People can take it from you. Laws can be changed. Okay? So even though you might live in a rural area and you might grow your own food, and that's good. It's good to be independent if you can. What you have done is at the best, you have bought yourself time. Because according to Revelation 16, when the plagues fall, you see, brothers and sisters, the Bible shows us that the plagues that are going to come are going to be after, the Bible actually says, after the manner of Egypt. Isaiah chapter 10. Isaiah chapter 10. Notice what the Bible says in Isaiah chapter 10, talking about the last days, talking about what it's going to be like. Isaiah chapter 10, going to read Isaiah 10 from verse 20 down to verse 24. Isaiah 10, actually from 20, yes, from 20 down to verse 26. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Yashar'al and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, on Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty Aliyim. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. Decreed shall overflow with righteousness, and the Adoni Yahweh of Sabbath of hosts shall make a consumption even determined in the midst of all the land. Therefore, thus saith the Adoni Yahweh of hosts, O my people that dwellest in Zion, be not afraid of the Assyrian. He shall smite thee with a rod, and shall lift up his staff against thee after the manner of Egypt. For yet a very little while, and the indignation shall cease, and mine anger in their destruction. And Yahweh of hosts shall stir up a scourge for him according to the slaughter of Midian at the rock of Oreb. And as his rod was upon the sea, so shall he lift it up after the manner of Egypt. Notice he keeps mentioning Egypt, the deliverance from Egypt. As the plagues fell in Egypt, and when the plagues fell in Egypt, brothers and sisters, the economy of Egypt was completely destroyed. The economy in Egypt was completely destroyed. Once the plagues fell, the seven, especially the seven last plagues, when the seven last plagues, okay, it destroyed the economy. It destroyed it. In fact, the people came to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh himself rose up on the night of the death of the firstborn. And he said, don't you see that all of Egypt is destroyed? Let the people go. He said, don't you see that all of Egypt is destroyed? Okay? Egypt was destroyed. Okay? Just so, on a worldwide basis, when the plagues hit, the economy of the earth, the entire economy, is going to be destroyed. Destroyed. All right? And when that happens, people are going to be desperate for food and sustenance. And if you are, I don't care where you are, it doesn't matter where you are. You can be in any desolate area of the world. It doesn't matter. People will find you because you have food. And they're going to take what you have. How quickly that you have food, that you have plant, they're going to know you have plant, and they're going to take what you got. And they'll kill you for it. Okay? At that time, our only protection will be the same protection that the children of Israel had when they left Egypt. It is the Most High Yah, the cloud that covered them by night and day, the spirit that guided them. That's going to be the same that guides us. Our only sustenance will be what they had, the bread, the manna that they received, and the water that came out of the rock is going to be their sustenance. That's it. It said, bread shall be given him, and his waters, they shall be sure. Given him, and his waters, they shall be sure. That's all we're going to have, brothers and sisters. Just like they had. And as he suffered them to hunger, so also he will suffer us to hunger, that he might know, just like he had to know from them, that we don't live, to teach us that we don't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. So it's okay. You could go ahead and you could grow your own food. You could buy land in these areas, these rural areas, fine, and be independent. Because the reason I say it's good, I'm not being facetious. I'm saying that because dependence on the Most High, right? When you're out in the land and you're out and you have to cultivate your own food and you don't depend on the store and you got to grow your own crops, raise your own animals, and build your own houses and stuff out of the wood on the land, and you do all that, it teaches you dependence on the Most High. That's a beautiful thing. People to get the idea that this is going to deliver them. It's not. You're going to have to eventually leave. You're going to have to leave, and you're going to have to wander through wilderness areas as the children of Israel did, and you're going to have to depend on him. And that's the key thing, on the Most High Yah. And those people, the other day, I was listening to an interview. Somebody had an interview with Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Israel. Excuse me, the Nation of Islam, excuse me, the Nation of Islam. He's the leader of the Nation of Islam. And Farrakhan was trying to give advice to a that had $350 million, hundreds of millions in his career. You see, athletes are entertainers. And in this world, brothers and sisters, entertainers can make a lot of money because you're entertaining. And that works for several things. Entertainers and entertainment take people's minds off what's going on what's real. So people look for that escape and they'll pay for the entertainment. The devil uses it to take your mind off what's real, of what the truth of the word says, to make you think you can be an entertainer and you can make a lot of money, whether you are entertaining from boxing or some other sport, or entertaining from acting or some other art, or entertaining from singing and dancing. You can make a lot of money in entertainment. So Farrakhan was trying to give advice to this man that had made a lot of money in the entertainment of boxing. And he told the man, don't listen to all of these people that will approach you about all of these schemes of investments. Buy land, was his advice. Buy land, he told the man. Buy land. Something to you. You can buy all the land you want. And the law could be changed tomorrow and take all that land from you. Hear what I say. You can buy thousands and thousands of acres of land, and they can change the laws tomorrow and take all that land from you and give you nothing back. You know how I'm telling the truth? Ask the Native Americans. Ask the Indians. All this land was theirs. Was it not? All this land was theirs. They were here first. What do they have now? What do they have? They have some casinos on some reservations that the government allows them to operate. And the only reason the government allows them to operate casinos on these reservations is because the government is getting some money from it. That's the only way. Don't think anything is done because of the goodness of their hearts. There ain't no goodness in the hearts of these people. They will take your land. And if you think you have a lot of money in banks, in stocks, notice what the scripture says. Let's look at the scripture first. Proverbs. Let's let the scriptures talk to us. Proverbs chapter 23. Proverbs chapter 23. Proverbs 23, verses 4 and 5. Proverbs 23, verses 4 and 5. Very plainly, labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not, is certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. You might think you have a lot of worldly goods right now, but tomorrow it could be gone. Just like that. The blink of an eye, you can lose everything. Ask a person that was in a hurricane or a tornado or an earthquake. In seconds. Okay? Or who was ask anybody who was around during the Depression. Went out of business, and the money that was in them went out of business with them. Tell all the people that had money in Lehman Brothers in 2008. Or tell the people that put their trust in Lehman Brothers or in Bear Stearns when they went out of business in a day and their value went to zero in a day. I remember when I worked in a certain bank. I came to the bank after I got out of college. It was Bank of New England, doesn't exist anymore. The Bank of New England after I got out of college, 1988. And when I got there, there had been people that had been at Bank of New England for 25, 30 years. And they had all of their retirement assets in Bank of New England stock because they trusted in Bank of New England. I got there in 1988. By 1990, Bank of New England no longer existed and the stock was worthless. And there were thousands of people, or at least hundreds that I know of in Bank of America, Bank of New England that lost all the value of their retirement. Just like that. Okay? There's no thing on this earth that is sure as far as earthly riches. Notice again the scriptures. Proverbs chapter 30. Proverbs chapter 30. We read this last night, but it's worth reading again. Proverbs chapter 30, from verse 7 down to verse 9. This is for the servants of the Most High. Proverbs 30, from verse 7 to 9. Notice the scriptures. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lie. Poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee and say, who is Yahweh? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my Elohim in vain. See, he doesn't want us to be rich or poor. He wants us to be in the middle. Have enough so that you can take care of yourself. You got your provision, what you need. You got a little bit set aside for if you have an emergency or you could help somebody, but you're not trying to be rich. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thine old wisdom. Psalm 62 says, if riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Told us in Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. We know it very well. Nobody likes to read it, but notice it. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. Matthew 6:24. No man can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh and Mammon. Can't serve money in the Most High. And what is money? What is money? First off, what is wealth? In the world, wealth is the material increase, right? So you might have property or assets, right? Your assets might be in the form of dollar bills, gold, silver, platinum, or some other precious metal. Your assets might be in the form of land, right? Or houses or buildings that you own, right? These things can disappear in a moment. And right now, you have people that are teaching people. I see people even telling black people, you know, we need to build up our economic power. Black wealth is worth billions of dollars, and we need to pool our money together for wealth. Let me tell you something. A dollar bill is a piece of paper. The wealth on that piece of paper is based on who decides it's worth anything. The wealth of that piece of paper is really driven by the Federal Reserve and the Treasury. You can lose the value of that in a moment. It's already being devalued. You see, brothers and sisters, people don't realize when things go up in price, it's not always because it's more valuable. It's because the dollars are less valuable and it takes more dollars to buy it. The house I grew up in on Long Island was paid for in 1966, I believe, for $16,000. My parents paid $16,000 for that house. That same house, the same house, I went by there about less than 2 years ago. I went by there 2 years ago. It looks almost exactly the same as it did when I was a kid. Very little changes to it. That same house today, $480,000. Same house, $480,000. The house that cost $16,000 to build, my parents bought it brand new. The first people to move into the house, it was brand new, stick-built house, $16,000, 1966. 2017, $400. The same house. It hasn't grown. They didn't add to the house. There was nothing done. They just maybe fixed it up to make sure it stayed up, you know, without falling. To go from 16,000 to 280,000. It's the devaluation of the dollars that bought it. 16,000. At that time, you can buy, you know, I can go into a delicatessen with $1 and come out with more candy. I could go into, when I was little, I could go into a delicatessen with $1 and come out with more candy than I knew what to do with. Right? 5 cents for chocolate bars, bubble gum, hard candy. I could buy, you know, if you go in with $1, I remember one time this boy, one of my friends got $2. We were going on a field trip and went into the store to buy candy and had a big bag filled with candy. You can't do that today. You can't. There's nothing like that today. It's because of the devaluation of the dollar. So it takes more dollars to buy what the same thing that you used to get for less before. That's controlled by government, controlled by Federal Reserve, controlled by Treasury. But they're controlling that. So tomorrow, the dollar that bought that $480,000 house, it could be worth half that tomorrow. It could be worth back to 16,000 tomorrow. What happens to the person that buys a house for 480,000 and thinking, okay, I'm all set now. This is going to continue to go up in value. You know, 10 years from now, it's going to be worth 680,000. You know, I'll have some retirement. Then there's an economic crash and it's worth 100,000, but they owe 480,000. Welcome to 2008. Right? Welcome to 2008. The other day, I saw a commercial for loans, and they were talking. Oh, the commercial was talking about the importance of maintaining good credit. I said, well, I maintained good credit. My credit score went high enough. I was able to buy my family a nice size, a big house. And I thought to myself, you did not buy a house. What you bought, listen carefully. What you bought is a mortgage. What you bought is a mortgage. The bank owns the house. You own the mortgage. You have a mortgage. Or somebody just said, I just bought a car. They just bought a car loan, right? Right? They have a car loan. They don't own the car, because just stop making payments on it and watch it disappear. I've had that happen to me several times, so I know all about it. Watch, stop making payments and watch the car disappear. That's what you got, a debt. And it doesn't matter if you bought the house for cash. Like I said, they can take it from you tomorrow. So what does it matter? Brothers and sisters, let us not focus. I guess the point I'm making in today's little talk is, do not focus on trying to get rich in this world. Do not focus. If you're an Israelite, don't focus on money. Get what you need. Get what you need to survive. Don't look to get rich. Get what you need. Get a trade. Get a skill. You know, do something where you can work and you can earn. You can pay for where you live, whether you own it or with a mortgage, or whether you buy it outright or whether you rent it. Whatever. Make sure you can pay for it. Live within your means. Be responsible, because the Most High teaches us to be responsible. You see, brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. When the children of Israel came into the land of the Canaan, and let me ask you a question. How much debt did they have when they came into the land? How much debt did they have when they came into the land? None. That's right, none. Land, it was theirs. And what was the government? The government was run by the covenant of the Most High Yah through the priesthood of the Lawayim. That was the government. They wasn't going to take anybody's land. There was no foreclosure. There was no mortgage. And so when the Most High said, honor the Yahweh with the first fruits of thine increase, they got the increase with no debt. Y'all think about that now. There was no light bill to pay. There was no car note. There was no mortgage. They owned the land. They owned the crops that come up out the ground. They owned it. You got me? And when they started becoming like the heathen, that's when debt came. That's when debt came. That's when interest came. And the Most High said you cannot charge interest to each other. That was the law. We're going to see that as we study Deuteronomy. There was no usury in the land of Israel. They could not charge interest. They could charge interest if they lent money to foreign land. They could not charge interest to each other in the land of Israel. No debt, no usury. Okay? And even if you was fool enough to borrow against your land in the land of Israel, in the Jubilee, it all came back to you. It all came back to you. In the Jubilee, all came back to you. Debts couldn't be more than 7 years old because it's every 7 years people were freed. And in the 50th year, all the land went back to where it belonged, what tribes it belonged to in the beginning. Every 50 years. Only changed when they started following the heathen. Okay? So here we are in the Babylonian economy of the new millennium. And you have mortgages, and you have car notes, and you have debts, and you have student loans, and you have rents, and you have taxes that you have to pay. What do you really own? You don't own nothing in Babylon. You don't own nothing. You think you own stuff, but you really don't own nothing. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care. Somebody got 350 million. Great. They got 50 billion. Great. Let me tell you something. Listen carefully. You know what money really is? On a computer. Wait, did you hear what I said? It's numbers on a computer. When you check your bank account, what are you doing? You're going into the computer and you're looking at numbers on a screen that represent how much is in your bank, right? That's all you're doing. Somebody can hack into your bank account, or they can hack in and they can add or subtract numbers. They can cause them numbers to go from $1 to 10 million, right? And now you think you got $10 million and you could go anywhere and buy what $10 million buy. Well, just so they can make it zero tomorrow, right? They can make it zero also. Isn't that correct? So somebody that's thinking, well, I got $1 billion, I got $50 billion with a click, click, click. Guess what? Guess what? Bye. No more money. You got nothing now. I got 5 credit cards. I got tens of thousands of dollars of limit on my credit card. Click, click, click. Bye. You got nothing now. Just like that. Couple of clicks, all it takes. Couple of clicks and it's gone. Wait a minute. We're not finished. See, the point I'm making is, brothers and sisters, on a day-by-day basis, on a day-by-day basis, we are being trained. Those of us that are sincere in following the word of truth and keeping covenant with the Most High Yah, in the name of Yahweh Shah, the Messiah, we are being trained to learn to trust the Most High. Every moment, the Bible says he tries us every moment. Search me, O Yah, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, Psalm 139 says, and lead me in the way everlasting. Why? Because we have to learn to trust him, because Adam and Eve failed in trusting him. Now, our parents failed. In order for us to get with him, he wants us to trust him. He wants, as we said, to trust his word up supremely above all things. Trust his word. In order to trust his word, you got to know his word. Trust the promises of his word. By partaking in the promises and trusting his word, the Bible says you become partakers of a divine nature. That is, a spirit and nature that's above and outside of you, that is not naturally part of you, that he can make become part of you through faith. Okay? He wants us to trust him. There are many people that are completely 100% dependent for their survival. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, right? What do you call that? Disability payments, right? Disability. You're completely dependent on the government. And so if they take away that money, you don't know what to do, right? You'll be done, right? Well, let me tell you something. They're going to take it away. They're going to take it away. Social Security, that's right, you did. And they can take it away. That's against the law. Maybe it is now. But don't worry. They can change the law. Did you hear what I said? Right now, brothers and sisters, they can change the law. Check this out. Check this out. Suppose they said, we're going to change the law for reasons of national security. Done that before? We're going to change the law for reasons of national security. Done. Done deal. One executive order. Done deal. Overnight. Law change. Done deal. Reasons of national security. They all say, right? And it could be real or not real, but they can say that and it's done. Okay? We got to stop the Social Security payments because there's hackers stealing Social Security, so we have to cease the payments for 3 months for reasons of national security. Now, truth be told, most people are about 1 month's worth of paychecks away from being homeless. That's the truth about it. That's how poor they got us in the United States of America. I don't care if you live in a big house or a little house. Most people are about 1 month of payments, whether that be paychecks, unemployment, Social Security, Medicaid, disability. You're about 1 month of payments, maybe 2, away from being homeless and on the street, right? That's the truth about it, right? I mean, everybody knows that. That's the way the situation is. And that's the thing we have to realize. The Most High protecting us. He's keeping us. He's the one that's our sustainer. He is our redeemer. He's who we got to learn to depend on. And yes, he might provide for us through Social Security, through disability. He might provide for us in these ways, but don't trust in these ways even in and of themselves, brothers and sisters, because they can disappear. Like the bird that's standing in front of you 1 minute and flies away and is gone the next, boom, it could be gone. Like by the click of a button on the computer, delete, boom, it's gone. It could be gone. It could be gone tomorrow. It could be gone today. Okay? We trust the Most High. You cannot trust him and money. You cannot trust him. You can't trust him and your church. You can't trust him and anything else. You can't trust him and your job. You can't trust. You trust him. Put all your trust in him. Do the best job you can. Be as responsible as you can with what he gives you. Be responsible. Be responsible, be wise, right? He teaches us wisdom. He wants us to handle our business in a wise way. But we're living in Babylon. You and I need to understand we're in Babylon. We're in the land of debt. We're in the land of exploitation. We're in the land of hypocrisy. And that debt, that exploitation and hypocrisy is going to cause all of Babylon to be turned upside down. The Bible shows us that. It's going to be turned upside down, where the economy is going to be worthless. It's going to be destroyed. It's not going. Your dollars are not going to be able to buy you anything. The silver can't buy you anything. Gold's not going to be able to buy you anything. The Bible said they're going to toss it to the wolves and to the back. It's not going to be any worth. When them plagues fall, nothing going to help you. Nothing's going to help you. But trust in the Most High Yah and in his word. So there are people out here. I see it all the time. I can't hardly watch a YouTube video without some young white dude getting on there talking about, give me 45 seconds and I'll show you how I made $100,000 a month. There's a sucker born every minute, is what P.T. Barnum said, right? There's a sucker born every minute. Y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Right? I can't hardly watch it. I go to watch a 3-minute YouTube video and there's a 5-minute commercial from some scam artist trying to tell you how to get rich. Right? Either they use weight loss or they use get rich 10,000, 70,000 a month, and I'm only 21 years old. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thy own wisdom. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Give me food sufficient for me. You cannot serve Yahweh and money with all thine heart, and lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. That's the word speaking, brothers and sisters. That's the word of the Most High speaking. You can't turn on the television without them trying to tell you about some new pill you need to take that has all kind of side effects, but might be able to help you with your problem. You can't watch a YouTube video without somebody trying to tell you how they're going to help you get rich, or how you have to trust them with your health. You see, brothers and sisters, we're in Babylon. It's a land of exploitation. It's a land of hypocrisy. It's a land of debt. Okay? Always about those things. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, they're always trying. In 2008, some of you remember, it's like we're doing now. At that time, I called myself a Christian. I think I was still calling myself a Christian in 2008. There was a financial collapse. You guys remember that, right? 2008, the financial collapse. You remember that, right? And there were preachers saying, listen, y'all remember Sister Lynn? I know you remember. I think Sister Josie might remember. I know Sister Pandora might remember. But in 2008, the preachers were saying, this is it. This is the end. The economy is going to collapse. Money so we can finish the work before it's too late. Isn't that what they were saying? Y'all remember that? I heard one fool stand up and say, I need to have a plane so I can fly and take this message all over the world. And the time is coming, and it's now. You have to give us your money so we can get the work out, so that we can finish the work before it's too late. And people were giving their money. People were selling their 401k, giving their savings account. I had sisters. Should I give money? Should I sell my? And I was telling them, no, this is a fake. Oh, Brother Todd, are you sure? The economy's collapsing. It's collapsing. I had people offering to give me their money. They were offering to give me their retirement. And I said, no, don't sell your retirement savings. Don't sell anything. This is a scam. Sister Josie, remember Sister Elaine? Y'all remember? The preachers out there? All the denominations were doing it. The Baptists, the SDA, they were all doing it. This is it. This is the end. They were all doing it. And I remember that fool asking for a prize, and he got it. He had the people give him so much money, he had a plane, his own plane. He said, I got doctors. Doctors know this is the end, and they're giving me hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the end. We need to really finish this work. It was a lie. And they bought it hook, line, and sinker. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. First of all, it belongs to the Most High, and giving his true word is going to ever beg you for money. No man's going to do that. Okay? The Most High will cause those that at that time to give it out of the Spirit talking to him. Just like in the book of Acts, you never saw the apostles tell the people, go sell your land and give us the money. They never said that. The people came to them and put the money at their feet. That was the Spirit of the Most High telling the people to do it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the Most High does not need Caesar's dollars in order to finish his work. What requires to finish his work are people filled with his Spirit. That's what he requires to finish his work. People filled. Let me be more specific. He requires his people to be filled with his Spirit. That's what he needs to finish his work. Filled with his Spirit. He don't need Federal Reserve notes to finish his work. Scam. Because there's a sucker born every minute. That's the truth. On your fear to take you. Okay? They will play on your fear to take you. Yesterday, it was yesterday. I got day before yesterday. I get a call on my cell phone from Washington, D.C. number. Guys on the other line saying, oh, your computer. Are you in front of your computer? And he didn't tell me who he was. He was hardly speaking English. He got a thick Indian accent. Your computer. Are you on your computer? Your computer is being hacked. You have to turn your computer on. I have to help you with your computer. Now, My computer is in the shop. I sent my computer to HP, right? So he's telling me at this moment my computer is being hacked, and I don't even have my computer in front of me. So now I know for a fact. If I didn't know before, I knew he's a scam artist. And I said, buddy, you got the wrong number, man. I said, you're not supposed to be getting on. And he said, oh, sorry, bye. And he hung up. Or this one. I'm calling from the IRS. We have a warrant out for your arrest. I'm calling for the IRS. We have a warrant out for your arrest. You are. Oh man, scam artists, man. See, they're out there. There's more of them than I can even count. They're all over the world. They used to be centered in like Nigeria, but now they're all over the world. Doesn't matter. I'm a Nigerian prince, and I just inherited 100 million US dollars, but I need help getting it into the bank. Right? All I need is your bank account number to help me. Brothers and sisters, those are the obvious ones. How about this one, though? How about this one? Listen carefully. Just put up. We are building churches in India. We're building churches in third world countries. We need your support to help us continue this very important work, to help build these churches in these places. Your dollar, only 80 cents a day, only 80 cents a day, and you can build churches. You can help get this gospel out. Only 80 cents a day, and you can help get this important material to these very poor people that can't read or write or have any clothes on their back. You can really help us. That's the scams in the churches. We need to keep the lights on in the church. We need to pay the mortgage on the building. We need your support. They even got, wait a minute. They even now have ATM machines in the churches, right? They got ATM machines to make it quick and easy for you to go get your money and give it to them. I'm not even lying. I wish I was telling you a story. You can't make this stuff up, man. And that's not including all of the get rich quick schemes that are out here. Get rich, get rich, get rich. Get economic power. Look at LeBron. He rich. Look at Jordan. He rich. Get economic power. Brothers and sisters, there's no higher riches than the spirit of the Most High Yah. Don't listen to anybody trying to tell you that you need to be buying up property, that you need to be accumulating Federal Reserve notes. Brothers and sisters, we're living at a time. Listen carefully. Going to be taken from you. I'm talking about before they become worthless. They're going to be taken from you. If you're following the truth, you're going to have to make a decision. Do you want to keep your earthly stuff? Do you want to keep your hundreds of millions of dollars that's really a computer click away from being taken? Do you want to keep that? Follow the Most High Yah's commandments. It's coming to that. You understand? And if you're trusting in whatever little bit you got, your little Social Security, your little disability check, your little payments, whatever payments you're getting from the government, fine. But just understand it's going to be taken from you. You're going to have to trust the Most High. Learn to trust him. The little bit that they're giving you right now, the Most High is trying to cause you to trust him. He gives us more than we need. When we're really following the truth, he just gives us exactly what we need. Just enough. Because you know why? He wants us to learn to trust him. He can't give us too much because then we start doing like we act like we don't need him. He can't give us too little, then we start getting desperate and we start trying to cut corners, right? But he give us what we need. And even those people that think they got a lot because they own mansions and yachts and they got hundreds of millions of dollars, they're fools. They're learning to trust in things that will not be there. There's no guarantee those things will be there for the next day. No guarantee. There are people that are worried right now because they have millions of dollars in the stock market and they know a collapse is. I'm telling you right now, I'm not even gonna have to be a prophet to say this. There's going to be a major stock market crash. It's going to go down by half. It's going to go down by half. There's going to be a major stock market crash. If it's not this year, it's going to be next year. But it's going to be a major stock market crash. It's coming, okay? And there's people going to lose their 401k. They're going to lose the value of their retirement. Banks are going to fold. It's going to happen again, brothers and sisters. Guarantee. It's just the way Babylon is set up. It's set up this way. It's the capitalistic system. It's the system of greed that's set up. It's going to happen. It's set up that way. You can't put your trust in these things. And then when you go on the TV and you want to trust in CNN and you want to trust in MSNBC or Fox News, you trust in them for what? You think they're telling you the truth because they like you? Come on. Come on. They're manipulating you. They're exploiting you. They're telling you what to feel and how to feel it. That's what they're doing. You can't trust them. That's why you got to look behind what they say. What you want to do is like this. Check this out. Check this out. How many of you in your life have ever been sold something that you don't need? Like you bought something because somebody sold it to you and they did such a good job of selling you that you bought it and you really didn't need it, right? How many times has that ever happened to you? I mean, this happened to everybody, right? Because this earth is really, the economy of this world is really, I used to be a salesman for a long time. I was a salesman. And I once in a while I'll run into somebody, don't try to sell me anything. And I would always tell them, sir, everything you are, everything you have, everything you do is built on somebody selling something. The only reason you have a job is because somebody is selling some good or some service that's supporting your job. I would tell them, please don't despise people that sell because you are being supported by people that sell. If you work in a bank, they have to sell money. If they're not selling money, you're out of a job. If you work in a factory, your factory better sell what you're making in that factory. Otherwise, you're out of a job, right? I talked to a lawyer. Don't try to sell me anything. I said, oh, you don't try to sell legal services? If your firm wasn't selling legal services, you'd be out of a job. Right? So because the economy of capitalism is built on selling, okay, it's built on selling. So that way, people are always trying to sell you something, right? And people are always trying to sell you something. And so every once in a while, you may end up buying something that you don't need because the salesperson, something about the salesperson touched you. You felt sorry for them, or they were just so good they made to convince you that you need this product or service that they were selling, and you bought it. But only after the fact you realize, I really didn't need it. I bought something that I didn't need. And now it sits there. You know how many pieces of equipment have people bought in January after the holidays, right? You done gain 10 pounds from eating during the holidays. You done overweight and you done gain 10, 20 pounds and you want to get that weight off. So now they come with the commercials. You want to join a gym. You want to buy this piece of equipment, help you get, and they got somebody that's in tight shape. You know, you see somebody with ripples in their stomach and they say, okay, you know, you can look like that if you buy. And how many people, and I never hardly buy new equipment because there's always somebody selling it because they done bought it trying to lose weight from the holidays and they don't have it. They ain't using it no more, right? It's sitting there, right? It's approaching you to sell you something because it's just built like that. And most of it you don't need. That's the bottom line. You don't need it. People that make money playing sports. Why are they making money playing sports? Because people are paying to see them. Right? Isn't that true? People that make money because they're what you quote unquote movie stars. Well, why do you become a movie star? Because you were in a movie and people pay to see the movie. Right? People pay cable. People pay movie theater tickets. People pay Broadway tickets. People pay to see you perform. If you're a musician and you make money with your music, people are paying to listen to you play your instrument. If you play basketball, people are paying to see you run around in them shorts and play basketball, or run, or jump, or punch, or tackle, or whatever it is. But they're paying to see you. Okay? People that are in entertainment are selling entertainment. And people are paying for their entertainment. Right? That's just, I mean, I'm just telling you, that's how it is, isn't it? Am I lying? Isn't that the truth? So we have stuff that we have to pay for. Like if you want lights in your house, you know, you got to pay the electric bill, right? That's why I tell people, if you're going to return a tithe to a church, make sure you pay your electric bill, pay your heating bill, pay your food bill first. Because like the electric company The gas company, they give you the use of the electric and the gas a month before you have to pay. Isn't that true? So like when you pay your electric bill, you're paying for what you already used, right? You're not paying for what you're going to use next month. You're paying for what you used last month. You can't return no 10% tithe to somebody when you owe the electric company for the electric bill, the electric power they gave you last month. You got to pay them first. You owe them. You don't owe no church nothing. You follow me? You got heat in your house. It was cold last month, and you heated your house, right? Well, they gave you that power last month. You got to pay them back first before you pay any tithes. You don't have no increase until you pay what you owe. See, increase is when you don't owe anybody. That's what most people don't understand. They gypping you. They are gypping you in these churches and these so-called religious ministries. They are gypping you, brothers and sisters, because if you owe, you don't have increase. You're supposed to pay your 10% before you pay the government. Pay the 10% on the gross. Isn't that what they tell you? Pay the 10% on the gross because you have to give God first. Rip off. If you have a mortgage and you have a roof over your head, if you have a rent, you have to pay your landlord or your mortgage company for what you owe, because you owe. Okay? If you have electric, you got to pay for what you use because you owe. You have to pay the gas bill because you owe. When Jacob told the Most High, I will give thee the tenth, he didn't just say it like that. He said, if you bring me back to my father's house in peace and give me food to eat and raiment to put on, then you'll be my God and I'll give you the tenth. That's what he said. That's what he said. And when we give tithes in the Bible, we give tithes of food. That's what he said. He gives tithes of food and raiment. That's what they were giving to people. People weren't giving money. Only if they couldn't give the food, they gave money, but it was really food. When he said, bring the tithes into the storehouse, that they may be meat in mine house. The storehouse was Solomon's temple, by the way. It wasn't no denominational church building. That ain't the storehouse. That's man's storehouse that he done built on mortgages. Huh? They ripping you off. That's why many people in the churches are poor. They make more money off the poor in the church than anybody else because they playing on your ignorance. They playing on your lack of Bible study. They playing on your conscience. That's the religious way. That's the religious way of mind control. If you got to give somebody some food, give somebody some clothes, pay the bill for them. Don't give money. You know, somebody say, well, I'm about my electric about to be shut off. Okay, if you got the money, pay for somebody, pay for the bill or give toward the bill. Giving them the money, right? Or if they got no food in their house, help them with the bill, put some food in the house. That's better than giving it to a church. Listen to me. That's better than giving it to a church. Unless the church is going to do that. And I've seen two churches that pay people's electric bill and give them food. I've only seen two in my whole life that did that. They collected the money to pay people electric bill when they were behind and to give food. The church I used to be a member of, that was extra. That was after you gave to the church. You had extra. You want to give to a food pantry, then you could do it. But they wanted that other money first. They wanted that first 10% first. If you wanted offering, you could give that for the food pantry. Amen. But you just think about that. If people were to give food and money for bills to help people that didn't have, what would the church really look like then? Then you'd have nobody be rich, everybody be helping each other. Then you'd have a real community, right? Wouldn't nobody be having no pastor with 3 cars? No big building. Because people would say, no, rather than put the money in that big building, we can help Sister Jones with her electric bill and her gas bill. We can help brother so-and-so, he's on disability. We can help him, get some groceries, right? And sisters, be wary of people that are after money. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thy own wisdom. You cannot serve man and money. And money. You cannot serve it with money. Don't listen to these people that's trying to get into your pocket. Brothers and sisters, you need to understand, everybody is trying to get into your pocket. That's what I'm trying to tell you too. Everybody is trying to get into your pocket, either to sell you something or to connive you or exploit you. Everybody. If you got whatever you got. I knew a brother, he was legally blind, and he was getting $900 a month, and he lived in the hood. He was legally blind. And man, all the crack dealers and prostitutes in the neighborhood were at his door, offering him their services of drugs and sex for his little $900 a month, because they knew it was coming. And he ended up getting involved with that and owing everybody money. So that by the time he got his money, every month he might have $100 because he owed the drug dealer, he owed the prostitute that he was used to frequenting. Huh? Everybody, when you got anything coming, there's somebody trying to get it from you. Follow the laws of the Most High Yah, and you won't be taken by these people. Follow his script, follow his word, keep his commandments, keep his statutes and judgment. Follow his teaching from the word, and you won't be taken by these people. Wisdom and righteousness and holiness will be given to you. Discernment of spirit will be given to you, and you won't be taken. We're not to be out here trying to get rich in this world's goods, brothers and sisters. This is not the position of the people of the last days. This is the position of people trying to exploit. Okay? I was on the other side. I used to do the exploiting, so I know, I'm telling you. I was a salesperson for a long time, and I was very good at it. People would tell you I was very good at it. I was so good, I had to stop doing it purposely because I was learning how to mind control people, and the Most High was showing me, you can't keep going down this road. You got to leave it. Because I was able to control and manipulate people's minds to get them to buy stuff they didn't need with money they didn't really have. Every salesperson does it. It's part of the game. He's trying to sell you something. I'm trying to tell you. All right? So no, it's not for Israelites in this day and age to be trying to get rich. It's not for us to be trying to obtain wealth of this world, of Caesar's dollars that are going to be worth nothing soon. It's not for us to be worried about that. Our focus, our goal is to be filled with the spirit of righteousness, holiness, and love from the Most High Yah, to be able to keep his commandments in such a way that we do always those things that please him. And brothers and sisters, that's going to take everything we got to get rid of all of the cultivated, inherited tendencies that we have to sin. It's going to take everything we got and all of our commitment and surrender to the Most High. It's going to take all of our study to his word just to be able to do that. To trust in his spirit of righteousness. Let's have a word of prayer.